Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am Christopher Bean with Tactical Advantage, and today we're going to talk about transitions and what you're probably not practicing.
Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video.
So what's up, everybody? Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about transitions. I have some other videos related to transitions on the channel, and it's something I teach in both Tactical Advantage and ASP classes. But something I'm doing recently that I think is proving significantly more beneficial is how we're dealing mechanically with transitions and what we're really not practicing. So the first thing I want to talk about is what we normally tend to do while working with transitions is allowing the action of the gun or the post-shot action kind of dictate what we're doing with the gun. So we're only inputting influence on the gun to stop it, really, not forcing kind of action into it. What do I mean by that? So if we look at some of the most used drills to force transitions, we're either looking right to left, where boom, and what is normally taught is letting that action of recoil, we're just influencing right, left, right? Nothing wrong with that. So boom, 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 something like that. Or a drill that you see used quite often, at least to introduce transitions or the beginning concepts of transitions, is the Mozambique or the failure to stop. And that would be 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Something that looks much like this. Boom, boom, boom. What's interesting about that is there's a big piece of allowing yourself to follow the action of the gun to make that happen. So under recoil, boom, boom, and then just stopping or inputting influence onto the gun to stop onto the head. So once again, allowing recoil to happen under live fire, it would look normally like this. Boom, boom, boom. So we're allowing the gun to dictate to an extent where we want to go. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But something I rarely see practiced is arresting the motion of the gun and forcing the gun to go into a different direction or the inverse of what that drill would be. So what I've been kind of working on lately in transition in classes and in my own practice is to start somewhere high and then counteract the force of recoil, drive the gun down, hence inverse, basically the opposite. So what I've been trying to work on looks much like this. Boom, 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 forcing the gun down. So some of this is done in dry fire. A lot of it's done in live, where I'm actually having to push the gun down or do something that's non-customary with how most people are training. Now, I'm not saying that anything anyone's doing is incorrect. This is just a hole I've found kind of in my ability to force the gun to go where I want. So I started kind of playing with the ideas. What can I do to make sure that I am the one that's inserting the influence, not the gun inserting or influencing me? So in classes, Neil and I have been doing kind of the failure to stop, the 1, 2, 3. And what we did in Arkansas a few weeks ago is we started doing the top or stop to failure. So you would run a series of, say this, boom, 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 and get used to that upward trajectory happening from recoil. And then we would flip it or do the inverse and do stop to failure, which looks like this. We already kind of talked about it. Boom, 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 boom. boom, boom, boom. Very interesting things get noticed when people start doing that. One, they initially notice, oh, I have never tried to force the gun down from one target to another. Now they try and mitigate recoil, things like that, but really trying to transition in a downward trajectory is pretty foreign for most. People haven't tried to do it. Now, this falls into my line of logic of being able to do with the gun whatever you want, whenever you want. So that's why I find this quite novel to kind of play with. The other thing I find very interesting with this is when you start doing this simple drill, one, then two to the body, if you're especially accountable to what you're using as your initial shot, you'll notice this very odd clutching feeling where you feel behind because you've actually had to clutch your presentation, your draw, the shot, whatever, to actually get this finite shot off and get this precise shot there before you transition. It's an interesting play on how your mind wants to think about shooting versus open, open, then tight. Going tight to open, open is a whole different realm on how your brain chooses to approach the shooting problem. So it's been super interesting for me. I hope you find it interesting. But let's continue to go with this idea. So the end game being that we can do whatever with the gun whenever we want, instead of just doing up transitions, down transitions, left, right transitions. And that's again what we normally see, up or right, left. Remember, we can do other things with the gun. So whatever target you're using, remember you have diagonal, there's a bunch of things. You could go around the clock, you could go clockwise, you could go counterclockwise. And I would expose myself to the downward push, and then I would just further explore the idea. So say we're just using our 1-inch squares here, just going from then maybe going the other direction. Then we have, ooh, see right there, that down one, diagonal, all sorts of different ways you can play with it and different inputs of speed. All of these things you can begin to understand how your vision and your mechanics work with different shooting problems. I've just found it super fascinating to kind of play with. And then you can explore the clutching, right? So if we go from a very precise target to an open, what does that look like? So if we go 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, start learning to dump that clutch versus having that clutch applied or that brake applied and just riding the brake, learning that downward push and then learning to just dump that clutch because the target's now open versus open, 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 open targets all the time. So an interesting way to kind of look at that would be, that was a little janky, but we'll try that again. So, boom, but I feel like I'm behind, and then letting it go, boom, 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 boom. That's an interesting kind of thing to play with. So this gets in the realm of not really talking about the mechanics of shooting, but understanding the interpretation of how you shoot. Do I have that feeling where I feel like I'm behind? So in live fire, I would tend to go boom, and then like maybe Charlie around here, because I feel behind and I'm no longer taking in information from my sights, or that non-customary or inverse kind of feeling of having to force the gun somewhere I'm not used to it going. These are things that will help you get better. These are things that will help you be resilient because you begin to understand it doesn't matter what the shooting problem is. You can do exactly what you want whenever you want. If we continue to do the same kind of things over and over and over again, continue to allow the gun to actually help or influence what we're doing, none of that is bad, but we're not exerting our maximum influence on the gun. That's kind of the idea I'm trying to play with. So try it. We have failure to stop. Boom, boom, boom. Yep, we'll do it one more time. Boom, boom, boom. Let's try and do stop to failure. Boom, boom, boom. Try that in your next dry fire session. Try it in your next live fire session. Throw me a comment what that kind of looked like for you. If you experienced something new, I'd be curious to hear. But again, the way we push forward is to go somewhere we haven't been. That is what I hope for you. See you next time.